Hello and welcome to the Motocross Network. Today, we have an exclusive interview with an MXGP class rookie, a guy who got third place in the muddiest race of the 2024 season. That is Schmicker Racing KTM rider Cornelius Tøndel. In this video, we talk about his rookie season in the MXGP class, his incredible top 5 overall in Portugal, and the controversial topic of rider pay. All right, so let's begin with you. Not many people in America are familiar with you, and that's the main reason I want you on. Most of my audience is American, and I like to bring on up and coming guys in MXGP to kind of get their name out there. I mean, there's a lot of extreme talents over there that not many people in America know about. So let's start with you just telling my viewers about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Cornelius Tøndel. I'm a 22-year-old Norwegian. I race the MXGP here in Europe, and motocross racer full time.
So in 2023, you raced MX2 primarily and then moved up to MXGP late in that season. This was your first full season on the 450 this year, and you actually performed better consistently on the 450 than the 250. So what can you attribute that to?
Yeah, I would say it comes down to starts for sure. Like in the MXGP, it's a lot of tight tracks and not so many passing opportunities. It's just way more difficult for passing, I would say, the tracks here in Europe than in America. And starts is certainly a big part of it. And I have been able to consistently start between 5 and 15, and then it makes the race way easier than starting at the back.
Yeah, that's actually what caught my attention. I wasn't familiar with your name. I mean, I saw it in the results list over the years, but I wasn't familiar with you until I think Trentino. I think that's when I first reached out to you. The qualifying race, you got an incredible start and ran up front for a long time. That really caught my eye. Was there anything in particular you struggled with this year on the 450? Did you have to learn anything new in your full season?
Well, to be honest, I've been a little bit on the 450 in the past as well. So actually adapting to the 450 was not the biggest issue, I would say. We had some struggles with finding the correct balance in the bike, with the tracks being quite muddy most of the time, and like the weight was always a problem because it was so much mud on the bike most of the races.
Yeah.
And we really struggled to find that correct setup, but I think we did quite well with what we had. To be honest, it's not a big team, not a big budget, but we did pretty well.
Yeah, speaking of the mud, your best race of the year was, I'd say, probably the worst mudder of the year. Is that fair to say? Portugal?
Worst mudder I've ever raced, maybe ever seen.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean,
Yeah,
the ruts, the bikes were just getting swallowed, and you pushed through it and you were consistent. You went 12-13 for 5th overall. Truly incredible. Tell us what it was like to be battling up there with the likes of Herlings and Fevra. I think they had a big lead over you, but you were still up there with those guys. So it was incredible to see. Just take us through that day. How was it for you?
Yeah, actually, I woke up in the morning and the rain was just hammering on the roof of the van, and I knew it was going to be a big mudder that day. I was prepared for it, and obviously I was one of the only riders that was able to keep the goggles on for 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and that also helped a lot. And I didn't have to stop for goggles and stuff. And in the first race, I was actually inside the top 10. I believe I was in 7th, passing for 6th, and my bike stopped with a couple laps to go, and I was actually standing there for a minute and a half, and I dropped down to, I believe, 16th, 17th place, and suddenly the bike started again, and I was able to get to the finish, and on the last lap I got back up to 12th. So that was unfortunate, but at the same time I was able to get to the finish, as many guys were not. So that was actually already good, considering all the water that was on the track. It was basically jet skiing. It was unbelievable, the first race. And the rain stopped a bit, and it got a bit more firm, I would say, a bit more heavy. And for the second race, I was confident that I could do well. I didn't expect the top 3, but it was Actually, off the start, I spun on the mesh, and I was last on the start straight. But I kept the goggles pretty clean. I pulled one tear off, and I went up the inside through the first corner. And after the second corner, I was top 5. Then I passed Bonacorsi and Seaver, and was up to third. And I had Fevre on me the whole time, and I was able to keep him behind. He even passed me one time, and I passed him straight back, and yeah, finished third.
Were you nervous at all? Like battling with Fevre? I mean, you know who this guy is, how fast he is, champion. I mean, do you kind of get nervous, or is it like a surreal feeling knowing you're battling with this guy?
Yeah, so in the moment, I really didn't think about it. I obviously thought a lot about it after. Like,
Yeah.
I was, I believe, still on 85s when he won his world title in MXGP in 2016. So
It's got to be wild.
it's real crazy to think about. But yeah, in the moment, I was just focusing on the riding, and yeah, when I crossed the finish line, I kind of realized what I did, and it was really an amazing experience to be able to battle with the guys, and to be able to stay in front of Fevre was really unbelievable.
So the goggle thing, I mean, I think Prado had to get 2 sets of goggles at race, if I remember correctly. A lot of guys had to throw their goggles or get new ones. How did you manage to race the whole race without throwing them out? Or, I mean, did you run out of tear-offs? Did you have roll-offs or tear-offs?
So all the guys ran roll-offs, and I didn't run roll-offs all year. And I went with the tear-offs. I taped as good as I could around the whole lens, trying to prevent the water from getting in. And I had a double lens on, and I think most guys had that. And 21 tear-offs and armor vision under. You know the
Oh,
film,
armor
like,
vision. How
yeah,
did that
the
work?
film you put on the lens. So I had the 21 tear-offs. I think I went through them in the first 15, 20 minutes. And then after that, I didn't wipe one time, just clean to the finish.
Yeah, armor vision. I bought some, but I never actually tried it. It seems wild to me. Does it actually work? Did you reach the armor vision? Have you tested with the armor vision before?
I did almost the whole ADAC German Championship with only armor vision, no tear-offs, no roll-offs, no nothing. And that's 325 plus 2 every weekend.
So it
So
works pretty good as advertised, where like the water and mud hits and just kind of slides off.
yeah, sometimes you have to wipe, especially
Yeah.
on harder, more techy tracks. You have to wipe sometimes, but like I believe on some sand races, I really didn't wipe one time. It's quite incredible.
I think is that a French company? I don't know. I think it's a French company. But yeah, in America, nobody has that. And I even gave this to a pro. I gave one of those to a pro over here, and he's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Dude, you got to try it." Nobody over here has those. And I think that could be a real game changer with the tear off situation in mudders, especially. Um, so we talked about your best race of the year. Let's look at your worst race of the year. Czech Republic, you went 35 DNS. I didn't remember what happened there. I tried to look on your Instagram, but I scrolled by it or I didn't see. I don't know. So what happened in Czech Republic for you? That was not a very normal day for you. It's not normal to see you go 35 DNS. So did you get hurt there? Or what happened? Take us through that race.
Yeah, so it actually started some weeks before. After Majora, I got COVID before one of the ADACs, and I raced that weekend. I was completely, full gas fever, throwing up, not feeling good at all. And Monday on the sofa. Tuesday morning, we flew to Indonesia. I had the 2 races there, really broke me. And I came back. I was not able to recover at all. I had another race before the round in Czech Republic, and in the first race I was, I believe, running like 17th or 18th. Was not that great, to be honest. And on the triple after the start, I just overextended my ankle, and I got a small fracture there. So that was the end of the weekend there in the first race. I pulled off, and that was it.
So that was, for a lack of better words, that was a pretty shitty weekend. Coming in sick and then coming out hurt too. That's not great.
No.
Before we move on, I want to talk about Motocross of Nations stuff before we move on to that. out of all the races of the year, was there one in particular that you look back at and you're like, man, if I did this one thing, I could have done so much better if I didn't make this one mistake? Is there anything you look back at through the season and wish you could have changed or done something different?
Yeah, I mean, what happened has happened. I cannot change it much, but
Yeah.
like maybe the round in Spain straight after Portugal, I was in fifth or sixth place, and I made one small mistake that made me miss the next jump, and I actually lost 3 positions in the process, and that would have been a possibility of a nice top 5. But I mean, I cannot complain, man. I had a lot of good results this season, and yeah, obviously after I got sick, it was not that great, but like the results I did, I'm happy with, I'm proud of, and I don't feel like I have to change nothing about it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you hit a tough block in Spain? Was that what it was? Like you kind of fell off and hit a tough block. You missed a jump. Is
Yeah,
that what it was, if I remember correctly? Because I remember
yeah,
watching that and I was rooting for you. I'm like, oh my God, he's pushing it, man. And then I saw you
yeah.
fall off the track. But
Yeah, it was. I was battling with Saber there, and I tried to get into the rut, but I didn't quite get in. And then I went off the track over the top log, and yeah, missed the triple into the waves. And then it was, a small mistake in MXGP is easily 3 positions. So.
oh yeah, absolutely. Overall though, that you probably learned a lot from that race, starting up front and battling with those guys for I don't remember how many laps it was, but still, you learn a lot being up there in the pack with those guys.
Yeah, certainly. Like just the whole season, to be honest. Like the intensity, all the guys, they are on it from the first lap to the last lap. There's no resting anymore because it's 450. It's wide open, man. It's really really tough.
So let's look at some Motocross of Nations stuff. In 2023 Motocross of Nations, I was looking back at your past years, and this caught my eye. It said you were disqualified. That's according to Racer X anyway. What was up with that? I didn't even know that from last year. So just take us through that situation.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know nothing about it. And apparently, there was illegal fuel in my bike. I don't know how that got in there or how that happened, but it was certainly not something that I did anything about, and I did
Yeah.
not want to cheat in any way. So that was not, not intentional, but yeah, it happened. So.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not like, I mean, it sounds, I'm not trying to be mean, but like Team Norway, why would they cheat? There really is no chance you guys are going to win. So like, what advantage did you get out of that? Did they say what was specifically wrong with the fuel, or did they just say it was illegal?
To be honest, I was not really so much in the conversation. They told me we were disqualified, and I said, yeah, it
Yeah.
was not a great race anyways, to be honest, because Kevin's
Yeah.
bike broke in both races, and I had a brake disc that got bent, and I had to DNF, and Håkon broke his leg, so it was not a great race anyways.
I think that happened at Redbud as well. 2018, maybe? Team Italy. I think they had an illegal fuel thing, and it didn't come out until like 8 months afterwards. I was like, what? But
Yeah, could be.
yeah, I would love to know what is categorized as illegal fuel. But let's move
Yeah.
on to 2024 Motocross of Nations. The field was super stacked. I mean, there were guys in 20th that you just look through the field. You're like, holy crap, this is wild. It was a super solid race. Team Norway got 17th, but you got 14th overall. How do you feel the nations went for you? And do you think you could have done better? I mean, it was stacked, but you still did really good.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday was pretty good for me, I would say. Like riding didn't feel amazing, but seventh was solid in the qualifying race. And then on Sunday I spun on the gate in both races. First race finished 14th, so that was pretty decent, but I just could not handle the pain anymore. I had a start crash some weeks prior to the nations in one of the German races, and I injured my wrist, and still painful, and yeah, couldn't do nothing about it, and it was not safe anymore for me to be on the track, so I just had to pull off.
Yeah, that was wild that you got 14th overall. I was looking at him like, how did they calculate this out? Because I think it was 1435 or something for
Yeah,
14th overall. I'm like, how does that math? But either way, take it, right?
Yeah.
So you're on a smaller satellite team, Schmicker Racing KTM. Now, they seem like a solid team. I haven't seen them in person, but do you feel you kind of have a handicap of sorts of against the top teams? You obviously don't have the premier setup like those guys have and products that they have on their bike. Do you feel you kind of have a disadvantage compared to those guys or no?
Yeah, certainly we don't have the same possibilities of testing. We don't have the same equipment as they have. We are not able to spend the same amount of money. We don't have all the personnel that they have. It's certainly a disadvantage, but I always like to not think about it when I go race, because if I go to the start line with the mindset that I already start with a disadvantage, it's not going to go so great. So I try to focus on what we are doing well and focus on what we have, try to make it as good as possible. And that's that.
Yeah, it's probably best to not worry about it. I mean, yeah, you are at a disadvantage, but there are a lot of guys in the past on satellite teams who have even podiumed. I mean, I think it was last year, Alberto Ferrato, he almost got a podium. I think he tied for third overall, but got fourth the last race of the year, and he was on a smaller team last year. So, yeah, it's not, I mean, you are in a disadvantage, but it's not big enough to where you can't get up there. And you've proven that getting fifth overall in Portugal. Were there any struggles in particular you had on the bike? I mean, you said you got comfortable pretty quickly, but were there any struggles with setup or I don't know. Was there anything you kind of struggled with this year?
Like engine wise, I feel like the 450 is pretty much you don't need more, to be
Oh, yeah,
honest. And I just
it's a
have
rocket off the showroom floor.
yeah I just have a different ECU and I exhaust, and when we fine tune the ECU a bit, that's more than enough power. It's more from the suspension side, parts that we cannot get to, that the factory teams have, that certainly would be a nice step. But for sure, suspension would be where I would have to improve the most on the bike.
So you had a late season injury, like you mentioned, a crash in ADAC, I believe it was. What happened in that race, and how are you feeling these days? You mentioned that it still hurts. Did you have to get surgery on it? Is there anything you're working on, physical therapy with it right now? How's it doing?
It was a start crash there in the first corner. I went into the first corner first. I had a great start, and I went a bit wide. I slid a bit on the outside there. Was a slick patch, and I managed to straighten the bike up, but I touched one of the rear wheels of one competitor and went straight left, had no control, and took some guys with me. Real concrete hardback track, and hit my wrist and ribs as well. So heavily bruised wrist and ribs, and certainly doesn't help for the riding. And like a track like Metro Basin with all the G-force and big jumps, it's pretty painful.
Yeah. So is a lot of guys race ADAC? Is ADAC more of a money race, like you go there just to get extra money, or is it just kind of training to keep yourself up to par?
Yeah, it's training as well, but like, to be honest, for me this year it was a bit too much with all the races. If I didn't get injured, I would have every weekend a race from the 21st of March until Nations, the 6th of October. So bit too much in my opinion. Certainly good prize money, so that's a motivator to go there. And for sure it's nice training. They have great tracks, they prepare well, so certainly some nice races to do on the side.
Yeah. So you mentioned the start grates a couple times. With it being as muddy as it was this year, how how hard is it to keep your tires dry and to keep the grates dry to not slip on the start? I mean, is that a big problem week after week, especially with all the rain we had this year, or no?
Yeah, it's, to be honest, every weekend some guys spin. It's even if it's dry, it's the possibility of spinning. So I believe in the US they have a bit bigger holes in the meshes. So
Yeah.
I think the European ones certainly have a little bit less grip. So what we did, we put the whole shot device a little bit higher up, so the bike is not too low in the front, because the lower it is in the front, the less grip you have on the back actually.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's the way we tried to adjust to that. much else than that you cannot do. Just spin on the mesh, try to clean the tire, and make it as dry as possible, and then hope for the best.
Do you make your mechanic pick up the tire and walk it all the way across the pits or the start like the other guys do, or no?
Honest, we don't really do that. A lot of guys change the wheel after the sighting lap and stuff, but I feel some stress with it. I don't know. It's like if something goes wrong and the tire don't go on, then you have quite a problem there. So I like to just spin it on the edge of the mesh, or spin it on like the piece of tarmac behind the mesh or whatever. Try to clean it, and works pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, if you change the tire right then it becomes a time crunch, and then you got anxiety on the gate. That's probably not a great way to start your race.
No.
There's a lot of talk online anyway. I don't know how it is with the MXGP riders about some tracks that just need to go. A lot of people are complaining about Tuchenthal in Germany, Czech Republic. Is there a track in particular that you just can't stand and think they should remove off the calendar?
To be honest, from the track I raced, I find the tracks pretty nice, but like the last round in Spain on the new track, looked like looked like an enduro race, man. I unbelievable that they take a race there. It's not much to say about it, to be honest. It's for sure it's some tracks that are not the best for the GPs, but at the same time, like Loket and Teutschenthal, I've been on the calendar for I don't know how many years, and it's great for the spectators, great for the, how should I say, history of the MXGP.
So yeah, worst tracks, we got through that. Now you don't have to answer this in complete honesty if you don't want to. You can just give us a range if you can. A lot of people in America, a lot of fans, they want to know, because we know how much money they make in super motocross now, at least bonus. How much does a top 20, oftentimes top 15 rider in MXGP make? Just an estimate, because they're not very transparent on the payment in MXGP, and you can't really compare super motocross championship to MXGP because we don't know the numbers. Is there a range you can give us? What is the amount of money, the prize money you guys get?
Prize money in MXGP?
Yeah. How much? Yeah.
Zero.
Really?
You win the championship, you get zero. You finish fifth, you get zero. 10th is zero. There is nothing. There is only the bonus from the brands KTM, Honda, Yamaha, what contract you have with the team, salary, bonus money from the team. That's the only prize money we get.
That's insane. I don't even know how to react to that. That's insane. People complain about how much riders get paid here for prize money, and well, it's a lot better than what you're getting, I guess.
Yeah, that's it's terrible, to be honest. I find it really, really crazy that we don't get any prize money. Like, I finished third in one race in Portugal, should easily be quite a good prize pot, I think. But I guess we have to speak with someone a little bit higher in the hierarchy if we want to change that. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure in Supercross here, if you win a race in Supercross, you get like 25,000 just prize money from Supercross, and I think third gets like 7, which isn't great, but that's a lot better than what you guys are getting. That's just insane to me. I did not know that. Speaking of that, a lot of talk of riders leaving MXGP and moving to America these days. If the opportunity arose, would you be willing to make that move?
Yes, 100%.
Yes?
Not a doubt in my mind.
Will you be coming over next year for the Ironman Motocross of Nations? Is that on the table?
Yeah, I think it's a plan. So if I get chosen for the team, which I hope, then I will be in Ironman.
Well, I don't think Norway has a very deep bench to pick from. I don't know many Norwegian riders except you and Horgmo. And who was your third teammate? I can't remember who it was.
It was originally Håkon Østdragen. He had been on a Honda this year, but he was he injured his neck, so he was out. And then it was Håkon Fredriksen that was gonna step in, but he got sick, unfortunately, so he was not able to. And then it was Sander Agar Mikkelsen. He didn't race so much in the World Championship and the Europeans the last years, but he did actually really great. I think he didn't race on a 4-stroke for many years, and he jumped on it, and he did a really good job, to be honest. So yeah, really good effort.
Now that you've had a full season of MXGP under your belt, what is your expectation and goal for 2025?
It's certainly top 10, and that's where I want to be. I finished 15th in the championship this year and missed 4 or 5 rounds or whatever, and some races due to bike problems or whatever. So not going to blame it on that, but certainly top 10 is the goal.
All right, man. That's all I have for today. Sorry for some of the production issues on my end.
No
I just have to say one more thing. If you do come over for Ironman next year, I feel like you're really going to want to stay in America because Ironman is an incredible track. And compared to like Spain and a couple other tracks, Indonesia, man, Ironman, these American tracks over here, they're incredible. You're gonna miss it when you go back home. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm watching the AMA, and yeah, both the Supercross and the Motocross looks amazing. So it would be a dream to come over, and maybe Ironman is the start, or maybe if the opportunity rises, I will come before.
Yeah, we'd love to have you here. I'll tell you that, man. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you got things to do. And yeah, I wish you luck on next year and hope to speak to you again, man.
Thank you so much.